In this video, we are going to talk about unit rate and do some example problems having to do with unit rate. So a unit rate is a ratio in which the second amount or measurement is 1 unit. So just to review some things we've talked in class, when we are setting up our initial ratios, we have to remember that money will always go on the top of the fraction, and time will always go on the bottom. We also want our 1 to be on the bottom, or the denominator of the fraction. So we'll start with an example. Our first example is 4 cookies cost $16. How much does 1 cost? So in other words, they're asking us for the unit rate. So to set this up, because we have money as our $16, that number goes on the top. So we have 16 on the top, and our other number, which is 4, on the bottom. In a unit rate, we want our denominator to be 1. We always want it to be 1. So now we use proportional reasoning to think, how did I get from 4 to 1? Divide by 4. So we also do the same to the numerator. 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. So to answer this question, 1 cookie would cost $4. Our second example is Anna is traveling in her car. She can drive 75 miles in 2 hours. At what rate is she traveling? So again, they're asking us for the unit rate. To set this up, we first write a ratio. So we notice that she can drive 75 miles in 2 hours. So that's how we are going to set up our ratio. Hours is time, so time goes always goes on the bottom. And 75 miles goes on the top. So we have miles and hours. Sometimes I find that it helps to label your numbers because it helps you remember what you're actually thinking about. Okay, we are looking for the unit rate. So in other words, we want to know how fast she is going or how far she can travel in 1 hour. So we always want 1 on the bottom. We use proportional reasoning again. To get from 2 to 1, we divide by 2. So we do the same thing to the numerator. Here, we notice that 2 is not going to go into 75 evenly. So we have to set up a long division problem. 75 comes first in the problem before the divided by 2. So our 75 goes on the inside. Our 2 is on the outside. From here we divide. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 2 times 3 is 6. We subtract and get 1. From there, bring down your 5. 2 goes into 15 7 times. 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract and get 1. We have a remainder, but we can't stop there, so we add a decimal and bring down a 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So from this, we realize that our answer, our numerator, is 37.5 miles, meaning that she can travel 37.5 miles per hour, which is our unit rate. Here's our next example. It has to do with money. 5 tickets cost $120.50. How much does 1 ticket cost? Again, unit rate. Our ratio, we set it up. Money always goes on the top, so we have $120.50 on the top, and 5 for our 5 tickets on the bottom. They're asking how much 1 ticket costs. We notice to get from 5 to 1, we divide by 5. We do the same to the numerator. We have money, so we have to do a long division problem. We have a decimal. Because 120 cents is first, it goes on the inside. And our 5 goes on the outside. Now we divide. We already have a decimal, so we are going to go ahead and place this, bring it up in our answer already, so we don't forget. Okay, 5 doesn't go into 1. 5 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. We subtract and get 2. Bring down a 0. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract 0. Bring down a 5. 5 goes into 5 once, which gives us 5. Subtract. And don't forget to bring down that last 0. 5 does not go into 0, so we place our 0 up there. So to answer the question, one ticket costs $24.10. We can use unit rate to figure out what is the better buy. For example, if we're shopping at a store. So this example reads, Walmart is selling candy 5 for $2. Target is selling the same candy 8 pieces for $4. Which is the better deal? So here we're going to set up two different ratios. So first we will look at Walmart, and then we will look at Target. So at Walmart, we're going to set up a ratio, $2. They're selling at $2 for 5 candies. And at Target, the same candies, you get 8 for $4. Now we are going to use our unit rate to figure out what the better deal is. Again, we want ones on the bottom because that's what a unit rate is, a number out of 1. So up here at Walmart, to get from 5 to 1, we divide by 5. We do the same to the numerator. We will set up a division problem. Our $2 goes on the inside and 5 on the out. Place our decimal. 5 does not go into 2, so we place a 0. 5 divides into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Subtracting at 0, bring down our last 0. 5 does not go into 0, so we have 40. In other words, at Walmart, one candy is selling for 40 cents. At Target, we have to divide 8 by 8 to get to 1, and the same to the numerator. Set up our division problem. $4 goes on the inside because it's first, and $8 on the outside. Place our decimal. 8 does not go into 4. It goes into 40 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. We subtract to get 0. Bring down our other 0. 8 does not go into 0, so we bring 1 up. So Target is selling the same candies for 50 cents each. So to answer the question of which store has the better deal, the answer would be Walmart, because their price per candy is cheaper than that of Target. Our last example is an example of a word problem in which you use the unit rate to come to your final answer. So this question, Joe is making pancakes. He can make 25 pancakes in 5 minutes. How many can he make in 13 minutes? So from here, our first thing we do is write a ratio. We notice that our rate, Joe's rate for making pancakes, is 25 pancakes in 5 minutes. Again, labeling helps you to stay organized. And minutes goes on the bottom because it is time. Okay? We want to know how many he can make in 13 minutes. Now, here we run into a problem. We cannot get from 5 to 13. So what we can do is figure out our unit rate and then use the unit rate to solve the problem. So on the bottom of our unit rate, we want 1 minute. So we want to know how many pancakes Joe can make in 1 minute. To get from 5 to 1, we divide by 5 and do the same to the top. 25 divided by 5 is 5. So this is the rate at which Joe is making pancakes. He can make 5 pancakes per minute, or 5 pancakes in 1 minute. We will now use this unit rate, 5 over 1, to figure out how many he can make in 13 minutes. So again, 5 pancakes, P for pancakes, in 1 minute. Because we want to know how many he can make in 13 minutes, we're going to put that 13 minutes across from our 1 minute. Now we use proportional reasoning. 1 times 13 gives you 13, so we do the same to the top. Make sure that you pay attention and don't accidentally try to divide. We will do some work over here to figure out our answer. 5 times 13. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So to answer our question, Joe could make 65 pancakes in 13 minutes. So our answer would simply be 65 pancakes.